Hey girls, welcome to Saby Baby Talks, my podcast. So, the people asked, the people shall receive. They said to me, Emily, start a podcast. I said, me? They said, yes, so here we are. I want to start off with a bit of an introductionioness to the podcast, just to sort of let you guys know what it's going to be about, what I want to talk about, and the whole vibe. The vibe. So, hi, I'm cringing. Hi, I'm Emily Saby. I'm 23. Most of you probably know me as Saby Baby. And I started off on TikTok making silly little videos, and now we're here. I want this podcast to be a really safe space for women, for girls, whatever age, whatever background, wherever you're at in life, where you can just come and feel really seen and heard and understood, and just like someone gets it. Because I think as women, I think there's a lot of things that we feel like, oh my god, is that just me? Like, has that just happened to me? Or is that just me that gets that? Or whatever. And 99% of the time it isn't. But we don't speak about it enough. We don't speak about the nitty gritty enough. And I love speaking about the nitty gritty. And I specialise in saying things that other people won't say. So, having said that, we can talk about anything on here within reason. I see you. Yeah. We can talk about anything. We can talk about men, and I specialise in problematic men, right? I hit myself with I specialise in problematic men. But I don't want it to be centred around that. We can talk about fitness, we can talk about health, we can talk about I don't want to centre it around men. I want to centre it around us being the best versions of ourselves. Sometimes kicking them to the curb helps that. Actually all the time that helps. But I really want it to be empowering, and I want us to become the strongest, most incredible versions of ourselves that we can be. And just somewhere you can come, listen, watch, whatever you're doing, and just, yeah. Like brunch without the brunch. Does that make sense? It's cozy, comfy, girly, cutesy vibes. And also, this is not scripted in any way, shape or form. I thought about doing that. I wrote some stuff down and I thought, this is so robot-y. And I don't want this to be robot-y at all. I want it to feel, I don't want you to feel like I'm talking at you. I want you to feel like we're chatting. So the whole script thing went out the window. I have not a single piece of paper near me. I'm winging it. But we'll see. So having said all that, I feel like one of those announcement people. You know the announcement people? They're like, the fire exits are to the left. I'm making wow, who am I? Having said all that, the first thing I want to speak about, seeing as it's the first video today, is probably my most asked question that I get on TikTok. I've had so many messages about it, so I thought it'd be a good place to start. And that is mindset. That is, Emily, how do you get your mindset like that? How is your attitude like that? How did you get to think how you think now? That's a lot. Yeah. So let's get into it. So grab a drink, get comfy, sit down, have a cup of tea, have a glass of wine. And let's talk about mindset. So like I said before, it's probably one of the most asked things I get. Emily, how do you get your mindset like that? How do you think how you think? How do you have the attitude a lot of the time towards men that you have? And let me tell you, I've been through some things to think how I think now. Taking it right back to the beginning of when I was young, I've always had this mindset of I've always been very, very strong-minded, always. I've always known exactly what I think. When I'm not happy with something, I'm not happy with something. I've always been very, a bit stubborn, actually very stubborn, but I've always been very sure of my own up here, right? I've always been very sure of my own mind, always. But I lacked confidence, which was a problem, because as much as I knew what I thought, I didn't have the confidence to say it for a long time. So I would never say, like, actually, I'm not happy with that, or I don't like that, or actually, I deserve better than that, or, anything like that. I would never actually say it. I would just think it. But because I was quite shy and I didn't have a lot of self-esteem, I would never actually voice what I thought until I'd been through so much that I kind of come to the conclusion that if I don't voice it, how is anything ever gonna move forward? How am I gonna move forward? How am I gonna better myself or get out of situations that I don't want to be in if I don't ever say, actually, I'm really not happy with that, or I deserve more, or I'm worth more than that, or whatever it might be. So having gone through a lot, God help me, a lot, I was then able to, I don't know, people say, oh, like, things that you've been through make you who you are and whatever, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Cliche, but unfortunately it is actually kind of true. And I'm so glad that I'm at a point now where I will say exactly what I think. I'm sure some other people aren't so glad that I'll tell you what I think, but that ain't my problem. So I think having the confidence, because it's all very well having this, like, the mindset in here, but having the confidence and building up your confidence to be able to actually voice your opinions and your truth and your thoughts and everything. It's like two very different things. Because you can think all you want, yeah, this, that, and the other, but if you don't say it, not that much point in thinking it, right? If you think it, you've got the first step, but we need to work on the rest of it. So I think obviously I got to that point because of things I've been through, but I have had to drill it in my head, like, this mindset, and I really think it's so important. I don't care how arrogant or big-headed or cocky it comes across. You have to have this mindset of, like, I am that girl. I am that girl, and drill it into your head, like, say it in the mirror a million times. Write it down, journal it, scream it from a rooftop, like, whatever you need to do. But you've got to drill it into yourself. Like, people say the world doesn't revolve around you. Okay, but yours should. Your world should revolve around you. Because one thing I've learned, one of the biggest things I've learned in everything that I've been through, is people will throw you under the bus like that. Doesn't matter how nice they seem at first, how great they are and how wonderful you think they are in the first while of knowing them, or even if you've known them for ages. Other people will put themselves first, and so should you, because people will screw you over in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. And if you're not your priority at that time, and that person is, or you haven't got that self-love or self-confidence or self-worth, that is gonna, it's gonna hurt regardless, but that's gonna break you. You need to build your mindset to be like this unbreakable, untouchable thing where no matter what happens or who comes in and out of your life or whatever, you're still that person. You're still you. Now, within this strong mindset that we're, I suppose, all trying to build, whatever level you're at, whether you're down here or up here, there's going to be setbacks and there's going to be times, because you're training yourself. You're training yourself to have this mindset, because I think for a lot of us, I know for me, it doesn't come naturally. I've got such a big heart, and I've had to learn that I can have that big heart, but I also have to have this mindset, this strong mindset, to stop me from getting hurt, to get where I want to be. You have to have it, because life will kick you in the balls, mate. And you've got got to have this, like, it's almost like building your own armor, right? But yeah, as I was saying, you're not going to have, it's not going to be an easy road. You're going to have setbacks. And because you've got a heart and you're human and you're a good person, like, it doesn't really, to me, I will crash out. I'll scream, I'll cry, I'll spend all the money, I'll do stupid shit. I've done all kinds of dumb shit, right? And every single time I've said, I can't do this anymore. Like, I feel horrendous. I can't pick myself back up and dust myself off. I'm done. I can't be bothered. I'm like, I give up trying. Every single time I've got back up, I've dusted myself off. Like, I've had my crash outs. I've had crash outs, bad ones. But I've picked myself up, I've dusted myself off, because it's that mindset that I've built that no matter how bad it gets and no matter how awful I feel, or no matter how much someone has hurt that nice, kind heart that I've got, I'm still that girl. And there is no way that a person, another living soul, is going to knock that out of me. And it's so, like, instilled into me that, like I say, like, I've been at the depths of thinking, like, I'm done with everything. I'm not trying again. I've said it so many times to people, like, I'm not trying again. I'm fed up. Knockback after knockback, setback after setback. And best believe every time I've still, whether it's been a few weeks later, a few months later, a few days later, however long it is, I will still pick myself back up and I will still carry on. That's the mindset I'm talking about. Because, like I said, life has a habit of kicking you when you're already down, and unless you build up that resilience and that determination, and that it is inner strength, unless you build that up, unfortunately you are breakable. And I don't want to be negative, Nora, but I want you guys to really understand that, because I think that's the first part of, like, really this mindset that I have. That's the first part of really building that up, is to understand those things really and truly. So fast forward to now, I'm such a Leo Skeppy girl. If you know, you know. I still have such a big heart and I care so deeply. But I tell you what I care about more, in here and myself. No matter what, you have to prioritise yourself and your life. Like, okay, the world doesn't revolve around you, but it does, because it's your world, it's your life. You get one. I, like it or lump it, have got a bit of an attitude, in the sense that, you know, people say forgive and forget and all whatever. I don't do that. I don't like that. I don't believe in that. I will make peace in myself with what someone has done, but I'm not a mug and I'm not a mat for you to walk all over, and neither are you. So make peace with that stuff, because you don't want to carry that. You don't have to make peace with it for that person. Make peace with stuff that's happened to you, because you don't want to carry that with you. Once you've made that peace, you never have to speak to the person again. They don't need to know that you've made peace with that. That's their problem now. You make peace with your stuff and you keep it moving. Building up this resilience, like, guys, I just burped. Building up this resilience and this mindset, it's about you, and it's about how you feel and your heart and your mind and your peace. And then once you've made peace with things, protect it at all costs. You can still be a lovely person. You can still care. I'm not saying go out and be I don't know what I can say on here, but I'm not saying do that, but you can still be a nice, good person while prioritizing yourself and not taking crap off people. You don't need to. You are that girl. You are, and drill it into yourself. Think about, okay, something that helped me when I was building up how I am now, something that helped me is that I would think, what would, like, the dream version of myself, the woman I want to become, what would she do in this situation? The strong-minded, put together woman. And don't get me wrong, I have broke that a lot of times, and I've done things and I've thought, oh my God, she would not have done that, Emily. She would not have done that. But you learn from it. You move on. You learn from it. You, again, make peace with whatever's happened. Move on. Think about what that future you looks like, and how would they deal with that situation, and act accordingly. Fake it till you make it, pretty much. You know, like, act like the woman you want to become, and you will become her. You absolutely will become her. And for the woman that I want to become, it's different for everyone, I know, and the woman that I am becoming, thank you, Jesus. I want to be the one that says things that people are too scared to say. I want to be the one that is soft but also strong. I want to be everything that I wasn't before, and the person I was when I was so hurt. I don't want to be that anymore. I want to be opposite. And I know you girls get what I'm saying. And it doesn't matter how many times or in what way you have to reinforce to yourself that you are that person. You are the person you want to become. Like, it's happening. It's you are that person. And you should never ever, and it's so much easier said than done, I'm aware, like I've been there, to say, like, don't let people walk all over you, don't take stuff that you shouldn't take, don't put up with stuff, walk away, whatever. I know it's easier said than done, but if you think future you, or that person that you really feel deep inside is you, if they wouldn't put up with it, that is you, so neither should you. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but it's building yourself up. When coming from how I used to be, and I was so scared to open my mouth and say what I thought, in case, how did that other person feel? What if that offended the other person? Like, now, the way I couldn't care less, because what about me? Because that mindset, my old mindset of, like, what about them? What about them? What about how they feel? What about, that left me flattened, like absolutely ruined, because I was so constantly concerned about other people and being quiet and being, not upsetting anyone. You can't live like that. I'm telling you, to have that strong mindset, you can't live like that. It's never going to work. You've got to, now I don't care how loud I am. I don't care particularly. If my opinion offends you, or my morals, they don't align with you, leave then. Go away. I'm not fussed. Moving on to another point is that I used to find it really hard with, like, friendships and relationships. I'd think, don't love the way you treated me, didn't love that, don't love that, whatever. And I'd think it, and I'd know in my head, like, deep down, I'd be like, yeah, that's really not great. I don't love that. But I would never actually say, hold on a minute, like, I don't like that. You have to voice how you feel. It doesn't matter how many other people it offends, or how many people don't like it, or how many people have got to say something about it, or let them say it. This is your world, and this is your life, and it is about you. So make it about you. Right, so obviously that's covered a bit about my general mindset. But the main question I get asked is, how do I have the mindset I do about men? How do I have the attitude that I do towards men? Boy, have I got a story for you. So taking it right back again, when I was 18 months old, my dad left. And I know that's common, is what it is. I used to go and see him every other weekend. He didn't he didn't care, he wasn't interested. So when I got to 7, I was like, yeah, I'm not going anymore. Caused a whole scene where he then took us to family court. It was just way too much for a child to go through, and at that time I was also going through some other stuff that I'm definitely not ready to talk about on here. But growing up, I had my granddad, but he passed away about 6-7 years ago now. But I never had a dad, and it's the whole thing, isn't it? Everyone says, oh, she didn't have a dad, she's fatherless behaviour, whatever. I don't care, I really couldn't care less. But anyway, I didn't have one. And I think it triggered something in me where growing up, I felt that I needed that. I needed a man, I needed one. And I was terrified of not having one, and it got me in bad relationships because I stayed when I shouldn't have, because I had these, like, it was so much deeper than just fancying having a boyfriend or liking someone. It ran so much deeper than that. And the relationships I got in got worse and worse and worse. And so bad to the point that the feeling of never wanting a man again because of what they'd put me through then was overriding the feeling of I need one. Like, I need, like, the feeling that I used to have of needing one. And to the point where I genuinely hated them. And I suppose to a point I still do, like, I do. That the amount, as I grew up, and obviously naturally you mature, you grow up, you learn stuff about the world and whatever. And as I grew up, that feeling, I'd gone from feeling like my life would be solved if I just had a good man, to feeling like, hold on a minute, all that validation and those feelings that I feel that a man can give me, it's not going to happen. Yeah, because I really got to be careful what I say on here, because I don't know what I can say, but because yeah, that feeling that I want is never going to come from that. It's going to come from me. That safety and security, I can give that to myself. That love, I can give that to myself. That self-worth, that everything I thought I needed a man to give me, I realised that actually it was never going to be them that gave me that. It was going to be me. So then I worked on myself, and I built myself up, and I became more resilient and more strong-minded and more self-aware, and I got more self-worth. I loved myself for the first time. And that has now given me this attitude that I have towards men, where I just think, what could I possibly need you for? To me, waste of oxygen, because what do I need you for? There's nothing that a man could give me that I can't already give myself. Nothing. And I suppose that's my whole point of what I'm saying, is that building yourself up to have that kind of mindset, it just changes everything. It changes everything, because even though, yes, like I said before, I still crash out, I still freak out, I still have days where I think, oh my God, like, what am I doing? I don't feel great, whatever. But the mindset is so embedded in my own brain now that no matter how bad it gets, I know deep down I'll be fine. And I've given myself that, not a man, not another person, me. Which is literally the best feeling, because then who can take that away from me? No one. You know? It's not a thing that someone can just remove from me. It's not a thing that can be took, because I've done it myself. And I really, like, for all the girls that have asked me about this mindset and attitude and stuff, you've got to believe that you are that girl. You deserve everything good, everything nice, you deserve that, and instill it in your head. Like I said before, future you, that woman that in your head when you shut your eyes you aspire to be. Think about her and how she would deal with things, and what she would take and what she wouldn't take and what she wouldn't put up with, and act accordingly. It changes everything, honestly, I swear. And if I could instill it in absolutely every woman I ever met, I really would. So girls, that was a bit of insight into the mind of Sober Baby. And please just remember, you are the prize. You are the prize. You always have been, you always will be. You've got to believe it yourself. You guys know where to find me. If there's anything you want me to talk about, if there's anything you need, you know where I am. I love you all so much. I'm sending all the good vibes for the rest of the week. And I love you. See you next time.